What is up, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite place to talk movies. I'm your host, Luce, and today I'm coming at y'all with another movie review. So, I said in one of my past episodes that Toy Story 5 and Disclosure Day were 1 and 2 in no particular order of the movies that I was most anticipating for this month, or the month of June. And I actually got my Disclosure Day review out last week, so of course now I'm doing my Toy Story 5 review. So, I will say right off the bat that Toy Story is right back to what they do best. This is another phenomenal addition to the franchise. I've said it before that I don't think there is anything remotely close to a bad Toy Story movie, and Toy Story 5 essentially just extends that for me. So I will say off the bat, I really enjoyed this movie, and I would 100% suggest it. So without, burying anything, I'm going to go off the top and just say I definitely give this one a loose approves, and I definitely think you guys should go out and see this as soon as possible. But let me get into, some of the things I liked about the movie. I actually don't have any cons. Like, I don't have anything remotely bad to say about this film. So this is going to sound like me gushing over the movie a lot, but hey, I feel like this is very warranted. It's probably one of the better movies that I've seen this year. For sure, top five. No pun intended with this being the fifth one. But yeah, so let's get off the bat and just get into some of the details of the movie. So I'm sure you guys have heard, I should say, that this movie is essentially Jesse's movie. That is very true. This movie definitely, it has a lot of Woody, has a lot of Buzz, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, all the characters that we've and toys that we've grown to love throughout this franchise. But this is for sure Jesse's movie. A lot of the things that she actually experiences, a lot of things that she goes through, it kind of ties back into. And I'm gonna try my best to do this review without spoiling anything for you guys. But a lot of the things that she experiences in this movie are things that she's dealt with and had to fight going back and forth about since we first were introduced to her in Toy Story 2 way back in the day. So a lot of things that she dealt with then, that we were introduced to with the character when we were introduced to her. A lot of it kind of comes to head in this movie, and she learns a lot. And like I said, just from her experiences alone, a lot of it just ties back into exactly how we were introduced to her back in the day. So I really enjoyed that as well, and you really get to see her step into her role as being the leader. Now that Woody, from Toy Story 4, he's out with Bo Peep, saving toys and doing what he does best. She essentially lets him go do that. She's the leader now. She essentially takes over the role of Woody. She's the sheriff. And of course, which you guys have seen, Buzz Lightyear is her deputy, which is a whole nother, storyline in itself, which I also won't spoil. Jesse and Buzz Lightyear, they definitely have a good tandem, I should say, in this movie. They become a very good duo in this movie, and I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, I really enjoyed the fact that this is Jesse's story, and it kind of focused on her a lot and kind of gave her room to even grow even more as a character, which I already feel like she's done through Toy Story 2 to 4. 5 just really puts a cherry on top for her character. Another thing I'll say about the movie, I really hope all you iPad parents watched this movie and took something from it, because the depiction of like how the kids, these new age kids act with electronics, like how they depicted them in the movie, is 100% accurate. And to me, it was scary. I don't have any children myself. I don't. But just seeing the way that these kids interact with their iPads in real life, and just thinking to myself, when I was your age, I was smashing Transformers and He-Man toys and GI Joe toys, and even if there's a baby doll around, like I got Spider-Man flying, I need, I told my fiance, I'm like, I got Spider-Man toy, I need me a Mary Jane, so I go steal a Barbie and pretend she's Mary Jane. Like, I used to use my imagination playing with toys, just like how Andy did in the first couple of the first two Toy Stories, really, because he was older in the third one. But we would use our imagination while playing with toys, and just in the movie, you could see that that's just something that's dying with these new age kids, which I've also noticed in real life. So seeing them depicted that way in the movie, I really hope that these parents watch this movie and kind of like it gets their brain moving a little bit more. Like, maybe we should get them a little more something that they can interact with their hands, not using a tablet, like an actual toy, so they can use their imagination and like form real personalities. Because one thing in the movie that they touch on is like a lot of the kids that Bonnie, who essentially takes over for Andy, kind of like she did in Toy Story 3 that we all saw. She takes over for Andy, and seeing her use this, I think it's called a lily pad, which is essentially like an iPad. But we see her use this lily pad, and all of the creativity that we know for a fact that she has from seeing her in the last two movies. it essentially just gets sapped from her. Like it's like her life force is sapped every time she uses lily pad, and it's really, I won't say it's disturbing, but it is disturbing if you think about it from anything deeper than this movie. If you think about this from real life and like how kids actually are when they use these things, you kind of can see the parallels there. Like them playing with a toy, just from what I've noticed, and with actual kids in real life compared to them playing with a tablet, it's nowhere near the same enthusiasm. Like they're completely sucked into these things, and it's more so of a negative than a positive. And that's really what a lot of the story of this movie kind of stems off of, is how do these toys kind of grow with the kids when they want to grow and gain more friends, which is a big thing for Bonnie. Like I want to get more friends, and me getting more friends ties into me having this damn lily pad thing, because that's what all the other kids are doing, and that's an even deeper issue in itself. If all the kids are doing something that's sapping them of their creative capabilities, where does that leave us? Where does that leave the toys? Where does that leave society? Which I think was a very deep message in this movie, and I think that's another reason why I think this is up there with one of the better Toy Stories that they released. So that was another thing that I actually enjoyed about the movie. Another thing I kind of wanted to touch on, just the fact that I really feel like I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they're doing it, but they keep finding a way to reinvent the wheel when it comes to these Toy Story movies. Like all the stories in the franchise so far, in my opinion, I feel like all the stories are essentially the same, but completely different at the same time. Like the team over at Pixar, they're like geniuses when it comes to the Toy Story franchise, because literally every single one of them more or less has something to do with the fact that the kids are growing up. And well, except the first, well, no, kind of the first one too. Like all of them essentially deal with the fact that the kids are growing up, and the toys are trying to essentially find a way to grow with them in a way that makes the most sense for that specific child. And we've seen that story over and over and over again, but every single time they find a way to tell it to you differently, and it still tugs on your heartstrings every time. I don't know how, I dead ass don't know how they're doing it, but I love it. And to be completely honest, like I said at the beginning of the movie, like I mean the review, I should say, I gave this a loose approves, of course, and I said you guys need to go out and see this, 100%. If they make a 6, I'm pretty sure I'm probably gonna tell you guys the same thing whenever they release that one. Like I don't know how they're doing it, but like I said, they keep finding a way to reinvent the wheel, and as long as they're doing that, as long as they're giving us good quality stories and something that we can actually gravitate towards or take something away from, I'm gonna always be in the audience to go see these movies. So I really enjoyed the fact that I knew exactly what I was gonna get, but I was still surprised by what I got after seeing it. I don't know how Pixar is doing it. Like I keep saying it, but I really enjoy it, and I think you guys would too. Oh, another thing. I've made you guys aware. I've said it plenty of times. How much of a, and I still to this day, how much of a Buzz Lightyear stan I was as a kid, and I still am. And somehow this movie, without spoiling anything, somehow they made Buzz Lightyear even more cool than he already was. Like one of the first things that I told my fiance, who's usually my movie partner when I go see all these films. One of the first things that we talked about was like, hey, Buzz was cool. He was cool as fuck in this movie, and Buzz is already cool, like I said. But they did something with his character as far as his capabilities. I will say I don't want to spoil anything, but as far as his capabilities, and I was like, I don't know. I think I want a Buzz toy. If they can do that, I think I might want to go buy. I think I might want to go buy one. So I don't know how. Like I said, I don't know how they keep doing it, but they keep finding ways to reinvent the wheel, and it's always successful. I don't know how the fuck they keep doing it, but I love it, and I'm eating it up. I can't wait to get more Toy Story stories. But yeah, they definitely found a way to make Buzz even more cool. Like it's not spoiling anything because it's in the trailer, but there's a lot of new buzzes. Like I don't even know how many. It was like maybe like 25, like 30 buzzes, and then you also have the OG Buzz. So the OG Buzz definitely has some things happen for his character, some things that develop in ways that he wanted to develop. That happens for his character, and then the new Buzz is like add a whole nother spin onto the whole Buzz thing, which was like really, really fucking cool. Like really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. The last thing I'll talk about before I get on out of here for this review, I wasn't crying in the movie like a lot of the reviewers said, and I'm sure you guys, if you've listened to any or read any, you've seen them say that as well. I didn't cry myself, but this movie for sure packs a big emotional punch, like 100%. Like some of the things that the kids go through in this movie, it affects you as if they're your children. Like I don't I hope that makes sense. And like I said, I really don't want to spoil anything because that's really some of the more emotional, like deeply emotional beats in the story, is how everything that's happening in the story is affecting the children, like affecting the kids. But yeah, it really makes you feel like it hits you like, damn, if that was my kid, I would not want them to have to deal with that, or like how would I deal with this as a parent? And I don't even have kids, and it made me think that way, like, damn, if I were to have hypothetical kids, how would I deal with this specific situation if my kid came to me with this problem? Like that, I feel like, and that's where a lot of the emotion comes from in this movie. So I feel like a lot of people who did get emotional, they probably have kids and had to deal with something very similar, or even just remember themselves being kids and dealing with this as well. Which is probably why a lot of people got really emotional watching this movie, because there is one scene where if I were to cry, it would have been that scene, and it involved Bonnie. Of course, she's the main kid, but I was really hurt, like to the core, seeing her go through what she went through. 'Cause she's so cute. You don't want her to go through that. She's just trying to be a good kid. She's clearly a good kid, but she goes through a lot in this movie, along with another one of the other kids who I don't remember really seeing in any other promotional stuff. But there is another kid in this movie, and she goes through things as well, and it's saddening to watch. And I think that's where a lot of the emotion came from in this movie for the most part. And that's why a lot of people were saying, like, I was in tears watching this. I feel like that's probably what it was and what they were thinking. But yeah, that's pretty much my review for this movie. Once again, I'd 100% give this a Loose Approves. I could not suggest this movie more. I do think this is one of the movies you're gonna want to go see sooner rather than later. But I understand, a lot of people have families who go see this, and it's not always, a timely situation to get out to the theaters like it used to be when you were, just you and your partner like me, or single, or whatever the case may be. But if you do have a family, I think the parents can get something from this as far as lessons that can be learned from this tech heavy world that we live in. Watching your kids grow up, the kids maybe even taking something from this as well, because they're iPad kids, and it's a whole thing going from kids having quote unquote healthy play when it comes to toys, and then quote unquote healthy play when it comes to too much tech time. Like, it's a whole conversation to be had with this movie. So I feel like there's a lot of different things you can get from it, and a lot of different people in the audience are going to pull different things from it. And I think that's what really marks a film as being phenomenal, is in so many different people can take so many different lessons from the same story. So I would 100% suggest this. Once again, I give this a Loose Approves. I definitely think you guys should go out and see this as soon as possible. If I had to rank the Toy Story films as far as quality level, I won't say from my favorite, from quality level, first, I know I'm probably going to get hell for this for people who watched all the way to the end of the review, but first for me is Toy Story 2, then Toy Story 3, then Toy Story 5, and then the original Toy Story, and then Toy Story 4. So that's my ranking, so take with that whatever you want to take it. But yeah, so that's essentially my review for Toy Story 5. I really enjoyed it. I think you guys would as well. So go down in the comments. I'm really curious to know what you guys think. Is this something that you guys are, curious to go see? Have you already seen it? Are you guys lined up to go see it maybe next week? Are you big Toy Story fans, or you don't really care? Are you going to introduce this to your kids? Are they already fans? Like, whatever you guys are thinking regarding Toy Story 5, I'm always curious to know you guys' thoughts. So go down in the comments, leave them there, and we'll go from there. But that's my review. I don't have a episode for you guys today because I already given you guys 2 this week. So I'll be coming next week early on, more earlier rather than later, to give you guys a new episode. So I'll see you guys then. Until then, peace.